Did you see my video where I showed off the junk journal page I made for the book that I'm reading? If not, you'll have to go to my page and look for it. I'll try to stick a link below. However, I'm very excited because let me give you a little bit of background and then I'll tell you why I'm excited. I am trying to get back into a habit of reading regularly. So I am currently reading Stephen King's The Stand. I read this when I was in high school and I wanted to reread it again. So I got a good marathon session of reading in recently and finished book 1 of this. It has 3 different books. Then I made a junk journal page. Because not only do I want to read a book, I want to junk journal things about the story from the book. So I showed off the spread that I made as I junk journaled what I picked up from book 1 of The Stand. And this was the layout that I put together to represent what was happening in that part of the book. But when I did my page originally, the composition notebook that I use didn't have a cover. Now, I usually put my covers on before I actually start junk journaling, and this was the first spread in this new junk journal that I started, but I couldn't wait. I had to make my spread, and then I said I would go back and make the cover. So I made the cover. Let me show it to you. So here's my journal for junk journal for reading. And so here's my front panel, and this comes from a 1968 Children's Book of the Week poster that was designed by Ellen Raskin, and it came from a thrifted book, a secondhand book that I picked up. Here is that book in whole that I got. The price tag says $3, but I think I got it for $1.50. I got it half off. But this is filled with posters that encourage youth to read. I love reading. I'm a librarian by training. And so I was going through the book and saw that particular image and really liked it. And so I blew it up and printed it out as a cover for my journal. Now on the inside of the composition notebook, I have more. So here is the inside panel. This is a page that comes from a vintage issue of Ideals magazine. I thought it worked well for the theme of being a junk journal about reading. And on the back inside panel is a page that comes from one of the ebooks from Collage Soup. This particular ebook was called Home Sweet Home. So of course, books, it goes perfectly with the theme. And this back image also comes from a vintage issue of Ideals magazine that I picked up recently at one of my local thrift stores. And I just like the vibe of this. I felt that it invites the serenity when I get to sit down and just read and block out the whole world. And with the purples in it, I thought it fit well with the purples in this particular design. So I am so excited now to actually have a cover on this particular junk journal that I have added to my junk journal ecosystem. Now it does need one more thing. I do put plastic protectors over the front and the back of my junk journals to protect them as I work in them, but I'm out. So I need to go pick up some more. And what I did do was write down where each of these pages came from, and I will put that on the inside of the junk journal because here I will have something to describe the purpose of this junk journal and then go into what I am doing for my spreads. Isn't that fun? So I had to share because I'm excited to actually get the cover on this book because I am still reading The Stand, and my goal is to get to the end of book 2 within about the next week. And then I'll do another junk journal page. So be sure you're following along so you can see that progress if it's something you're interested in. Happy crafting!